Hey everyone, it's Peter from Peter's Prism. I'm the kind of guy who likes to wear watches, but I've never really considered myself a watch guy per se. And I think the reason why that's the case is because I've always been intimidated by the watch world. I don't know that much about watches, and I certainly don't have tens of thousands of dollars to spend on Rolexes or Pateks or whatever. That is why I'm here at the 2025 Wind Up Watch Fair. It is an annual event free to the public that brings together dozens and dozens of independent watch brands as well as more established brands with watches that are definitely more affordable. Come with me and let's go check it out. Hi, this is Ray representing Kuoe.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this brand.
So Kuoe Kyoto is a brand based in Kyoto, Japan. We hand assemble all of our watches in Kyoto. The sort of design idea behind our brand is to sort of make classic watches affordable for people around the world.
And tell us a little bit about how would you describe the style of these watches?
So the majority of our designs are based around designs from the 40s, 50s, 60s. They're a little bit on the smaller size, 35 to 38 millimeters in size. And they're all sort of based on classic designs. For example, one of our most popular models is based off the Smith's W10 from World War II.
Okay, and what about the price range of your watches?
So they vary from around $400 to around $1,200 these days.
Okay, sounds good. Can we take a look at a couple of examples?
Yes, of course. We got quite a few over here.
Okay.
So the one I was talking about earlier, one based with the Smith's W10, is this one right here, the Old Smith 002. So this is our larger version in 38 millimeter size, but we also have a 35 millimeter. So this one is lume on the hands and indexes, a sort of texture to the dial itself. It's a very, very popular model for us. So the movement in this is a TMI NH38 movement. It's sort of a workhorse movement. It's very, very tough. It can take quite a beating, last for a long time without having to really worry about babying the movements.
And what's the price on this one?
This one is around $600 US. The 002 is probably our most popular model, but our second most popular is this right here, our Royal Smith 006. This one has a Miyota 9039 movement in it, which is a little bit fancier movement. The movement runs at a higher beat rate, so if you can see, the second hand ticks a little bit smoother as it ticks. This movement also has a screw-down crown for tin ball water resistance, and it's probably one of our most popular models.
Does it come in different colors?
Yes, we have a few different colors. We have it with this silver case, we have a gold case version, and we also have a newly announced version with different colors and brigade numerals.
Beautiful. And how much does this watch go for?
This one starts at $770 and goes up to $850.
So which one is the
Okay, great.
So a good sort of everyday carry watch that we offer is our Old Smith 007. This has a 4 o'clock crown, small seconds, and the hands are heat-treated blues, so they're sort of a little bit more corrosion resistant.
What sizes does this watch come in?
This watch is only available in 35 millimeters, and it also has an exhibition case back.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. We're based out of Kyoto. Everything we do is hand assembled in Kyoto. We're a little bit of a smaller company, but we try our best to sort of share these classic designs with people around the world.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey there, I am here with AJ from Brew Watch Company. And AJ, tell us a little bit about your company.
Very good. So we are a New York-based micro brand, just to give you guys a little bit of a fill-in. Company's going on 10 years strong. We are very proud to be one of the key sponsors here at Wind Up 25. And to give you a little rundown, our collection is basically centered around the facet of timing espresso shots. That is one of the main kind of selling points that we've had throughout the collection for a long time. And throughout the entire collection of watches that we have here for sale, you'll notice that a lot of the watches have odes to vintage-inspired elements, modern finishing techniques, but still kind of really adhering to those 70s design principles that have made integrated sports watches so big in the industry as of recently.
Can you walk us through a couple of models that are very popular right now?
Our front runner is the Metric Retro. This is basically one of the watches that got us to the point where we're at right now. Although the company had already been going 5 to 6 years strong prior to the release of this watch helped turn a lot of heads, and it helped skyrocket us to a new stratosphere, and we're very happy with this one. It comes in at $475. It's a 36 millimeter watch by 41.5. Very compact dimensions. Although it's a square, it fits differently than your regular circular watch. Super duper comfortable on wrist. We're very proud of this watch. We have a bunch of different variants here. One of the recent novelties is a shot timer that we just put out last week. Basically, if you hold down the button and press it again, you'll get a 30-second countdown for your perfect espresso shot. It's a fun little quirky watch, and it's one of those things that's never been done in the industry before, so we're very proud of this one. This has been one of the most requested watches here at the show. Right next to it is the New York edition of the Metric. We have 3 different ones representing the 3 different subway lines across the city, even though there are a bunch more. We have the orange line, the blue line, and the yellow line. It's been fun to see who is leaning towards what, even if you don't ride those trains. The thing is, New York is nothing without its train system. Whether you love it, you hate it, it's one of those things you take it with a grain of salt. But
Tell me about the price range of your watches.
of course. So the vast majority of our watches average between $375 and $475. On the higher end of the collection is the different material metrics that we have over here. We have titanium. We have a PVD coated with a carbon fiber bezel. But everything else within the metric line, which is our main front running line, starts at $425 with this espresso timer, and then averages out about $475.
And where are the watches made?
The vast majority of our watches are manufactured in Japan and or Switzerland. We source all of our parts and we work with distributors and manufacturers over there. We bring everything here and everything gets a final QC here in the tri-state area.
Awesome. Thank you so much, AJ.
Pleasure's all mine, my friend. Enjoy the show.
Thank you. I am here with Marco from Timex. Marco, can you introduce yourself?
Of course, hi. I'm Marco Zambianchi. I'm the president of Timex brand, part of Timex Group, and we're excited to be here.
Tell us about Timex's travel watches.
We were discussing before what is travel watches, and we work the travel concept in many different ways. One is we have a very rich assortment of GMT watches, so dual time watches where you can set, of course, a second time zone watches. One of our traditional collections, this is Marlin. Marlin is goes back to the 60s, to our original Marlin in the 60s, and this is also a GMT watch, as you can see the red hand. This is not out yet, it will launch on Tuesday. It's a GMT watch with the James brand. You can see we're playing with fiberglass in the dial and just the level of refinement. So.
Can you tell us about the price range of these watches?
Of course. Again, this is really the pinnacle of Timex. Again, it's full. It's a Swiss watch, so it's 1,450 for the bracelet, 1,350 for the strap. But we have watches that are in the 289, 299. This has a more complex movement, so it's around the 550 range, but we cover GMT watches from the 200s all the way to the Atelier. So,
Tell me about the man who would consider a Timex watch as his first entry into the travel watch world.
Of course, again, there's a lot of people come back to Timex because of its heritage. So if you really want a very affordable but very high quality travel watch, you come to Timex. It's 170 plus here in the United States, founded in Waterbury, Connecticut. And then you can take that same concept of innovation and heritage and bring it all the way up to the top of the lines, the Waterburys, the Atelier. So again, it's quality for a value.
Thank you so much, Marco.
Of course, a pleasure. Thank you.
Peter, I run a little YouTube channel called Peter's Prism. Hi, I am here with Harrison from Marathon Watches, and Harrison, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Harrison McCrindle. I'm the head of government operations at Marathon Watch Company, the strategic government contracting officer. Field watches. Yeah. So all of our watches are made at our own factory in Le Chaux-de-Fonds, Switzerland. We use all Swiss movements with the exception of our GPM in the composite model. We have composite watches and we have steel watches. The steel ones are a rebirth, if you will, of the original ones from the 1960s and 80s contracts. The composite ones we brought back in the 1980s, made of a composite fiber shell material. The original ones had an acrylic crystal. whereas now they have a sapphire crystal. So much improved, a lot more improved durability. The GPM is the only watch that uses our Seikosha movement, the NH35A. Everything else uses ITA movements for the quartz, and we use a Sellita SW210 for the hand-wind mechanical.
Great. Can you tell us about the price range on these watches?
Yeah, so our prices are marked for the show at 20% off of retail, but we range from around the $300-400 range all the way up to around $600 for the mechanical movement.
So a guy who's kind of a newbie to the watch market, considering field watches because that's sort of like his aesthetic preference, why would he consider Marathon as a brand for his first field watch?
So it's a lot of the heritage. We started making field watches. That was our first issued watches in the 1940s for World War II to the Canadian military. It's simple, it's basic, it's robust, and especially like our tritium illumination on the dials is just second to none. It's fantastic, low light solution. It's not ostentatious like tritium can be. It's very subdued and purposeful. We also are very unique in the sense that we still do a sterile dial, so there's no markings on it whatsoever. That's a requirement from the Department of Defense themselves, so we still do that. But the tritium is fantastic. It's durable as all heck.
Great. Thank you so much, Harrison. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Hello there, my name is Patrick. I'm the managing director of Pequignet, a French brand established 52 years ago. And what sets us apart, we do our own movement.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, about 20 years ago, we decided to reignite what belongs to the French. The entire watch industry historically comes from France.
Yeah.
So we decided 20 years ago to develop our own caliber so that other made-in-France products, instead of buying elsewhere, Switzerland, Germany, or anywhere else, they source or supply their own product in France. So a made-in-France product can now have a made-in-France movement.
Can you give us an overview of your watch styles?
We have movement, 4 in-house calibers. All the watches you see here, they have their own caliber, in-house caliber, and we basically play with 2 legs. One classic leg, the Royal Paris, going from a 8500 big day date, moon phase, power reserve with a trotteuse, small second, to a more traditional product or more sleek product, just with a reserve de marche, and then a 3 hands, 36 millimeter. And then more contemporary, we have the Concorde in titanium or Concorde in stainless steel. The titanium is a grade 5 with our in-house initial caliber. Voila. What sets us apart again, it's the movement. So the Calibre Royal is basically 350 components put together in morteau. Specificity, it has an instant jumping day date at midnight, so it slides directly. 96 hour power reserve with a 3 Hz movement, single barrel. This watch also has a moon phase with the northern and southern hemisphere and a power reserve of 96 hours.
What's the price on this watch?
This watch retails at 8,500 euros. We are considering opening the US market, but at this point we don't have the exact USD price, but it would be below 9,000.
And what's the price range of your watches in general?
Our core goes from 3,000 up to 9,000.
How would you describe the man who might be considering a Pequignet watch? Like from a style perspective, like what kind of guy is he?
Someone like you. Exactly, someone who's not ashamed of having different colors or being actually very happy or proud to have something qualitative but no show off.
These are beautiful watches.
Thank you, sir.
I must say.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's very kind of you.
So yeah, that's Pequignet. I am here with Jody from Erebus Watches, and we are going to look at some dive watches.
Good morning, how you doing? Hope you're well. Hope you're having a great day at Wind Up New York. I have a YouTube channel as well, actually. I have a channel called Just One More Watch, where I review watches. The idea behind the channel has always been you don't have to spend a fortune. I've always concentrated on the affordable end of what can be a hugely inaffordable, expensive hobby if you let it. And after about 6 years reviewing other people's watches, I decided to start my own brand with the idea of, trying to give people the best watch at the best possible price.
Tell us a little bit about the styles that Erebus offers.
We launched 2 years ago with a dive watch called the Origin. We thought that was appropriate. We made a smaller version, we made a GMT version, so a fourth hand version for travelers. We then followed it up with a three-handed watch called the Ascent, which is a kind of go anywhere, do anything. We've just done a four-handed GMT version of the Ascent, which is currently on pre-order at the moment.
What's the price range of your watches?
Our prices are from $300 US up to just over $600 US at the moment.
That's very affordable.
That's the philosophy. We want to try and offer as much as we can for as little as we can.
Talk to us about the movement and where the watches are made.
Well, our movements are either Japanese or Swiss, but we are an Australian brand. We're from Sydney, Australia.
What's your most popular model?
The most popular model is our Ascent. It's the three-handed watch. It's not actually the dive watch. It's the go anywhere, do anything style. We have done a range of kind of stone and mineral dials. So aventurine, malachite, tiger eye, mother of pearl. They're all really, really popular at the moment. So people looking for something a bit different rather than just the usual black, white, and blue dials. So we do a lot of color, and we do a lot of these kind of stone mineral dials, which are very fashionable at the moment.
Awesome. Thank you, Jody.
My pleasure.
Okay, so I'm here with Simo from Jacques Bianchi, and I thought these watches were actually quite handsome.
We are a brand who started a little bit in 1982 with the French Navy, and then we revived this brand in 2021. So basically with this reedition, we started on Kickstarter, and we had like a real good response. So actually this one is like our main bestseller, well, from the beginning. And then so far we stay in the military DNA, in diving watch. And here is our latest watch. So it's a titanium piece, extremely light, grade 5. We have like this special signature, luminescent signature. So basically we have the minute's hand, which is like in green, and as well the little pip in green as well, the rest in blue. And we are 90% of French and Swiss component. Everything is made in Marseille. Everything is assembled in Marseille, and we are around between 1,100 to 1,500 for the price point.
What is the price of this particular watch?
1,400.
1,400. And what about these?
So this one, they're around 1,300. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, we have like different. First, it's the quality. We are well known for the diving watch in Marseille. Marseille is the first city in France connected to the sea. So basically, we have this like technical knowledge from years, and then today we stay in this like techniques and this knowledge, and we try to keep this military DNA, which like our collectioner likes.
Great. Thank you so much, Simo.
Thank you.
Austin from Vaer. Austin, tell us a little bit about the brand.
Yeah, the brand was started back in 2016 in Los Angeles, California. The co-founders, Ryan and Reagan, they're big surfers, and the premise was they wanted a watch that they could wear in the water, that they could then wear to work and not worry about it, but it was all the specs that you want. So it would be 100 meters water resistant, screw down crown, sapphire crystal, but very affordable, under $200. And so that premise has stuck around. So any watch that we make has at least 100 meters water resistance, sapphire crystal, all those specs. And that's what you get even, between $179 up to our $1,000 with our automatic GMTs. So I would say the G5 here is probably one of our most popular at the moments. It's a Miyota 9075 Traveler GMT movement. It's assembled in the US, very Rolex Explorer inspired, We'll have vintage Omega as well, and it's one of my personal favorite watches too.
How much is this watch?
This one starts at $935, and then with different bracelets, it could go up to about $1,100. This is our R1 Racing Chrono. This is a mecha quartz movement, which means that the timekeeping is quartz, but the stopwatch functionality is still mechanical. And so very vintage inspired, very 70s sort of case shape. But yeah, it does really well. Even though it's a chronograph, it still has a screw down crown, box sapphire crystal. You get all the same specs no matter what style of watch.
How much is this watch?
This one starts at $499.
Where can somebody learn more about or try on a Vaer watch?
So it's funny you say that. We're actually opening up our first storefront off Abbot Kinney in Venice Beach, California. So yeah, that'll be the first spot you can really go see it with our own personal store. So that would be the best place. Yeah, we'd love for people to come out to our new storefront, check out the watches, hang out with the guys. We'll try to be there and yeah, have some drinks, have some coffee and food.
Thank you, Austin. Appreciate it.
So much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. I am here with Darius from Benrus.
My name is Darius Solomon. I'm SVP Operations of Benrus USA, which was started in 1921 by 3 immigrant brothers who came to the United States from Romania. And by the 1950s, they were selling 1 million watches a year in the United States and worldwide. We relaunched the brand in 2019, and in that time, what we wanted to do is bring the brand back to its original ethos, and we build watches the same way, quality watches at affordable prices. So in that time, we decided to focus initially with all these amazing complications that Benrus did over these years. We focused a little bit on the military DNA and some of the civilian fun pieces that were icons in American watchmaking during anywhere from the 1950s to 1960s. Something this year that's really exciting is that we committed to moving to edit-based movements across all our timepieces. A couple of the really important pieces. The Type 1, we have reissued all 3 of our military watches built to meet or exceed the original military specifications. All our watches are running off of the 2892. So, a great focus point if you like the military ethos and really want a mil-spec watch are the Type 1, Type 2, and DTUs. Now, if you might notice also, we respect the original military contacts. They're sterile dials, so there's no brand on these dials. This year, we decided to have a little bit of fun and give people some options in slightly more modern take on our military pieces by making slightly larger versions with different color sets. Our price points range from about $990 up through $1,995. We're providing a really amazing movement in all our watches. The ETA 2892, they're all Swiss-made watches. They all have great water resistance, quality manufacture, and each one has its own set of details. This is a real fun introduction this year at $990. It's the one-to-one reissue of the DTU 2AP in 34 millimeter. So there's been a trend of going a little smaller. So we said, hey, we're gonna give people something that they've been asking for us for some years now. So this was just introduced this year. Everything is sapphire crystal, superluminova, varying depth ratings. If you look at the finishing, every watch has a kind of a bit of its own personality, and that we have everything that covers from slightly dress all the way down to you're in the field, fishing, diving, and want a watch that covers all of that. If you're looking for a reissue of a military watch, this is the only watch that was issued to the underwater demolitions Navy SEALs in 1972 to 1980. So if you want a real reissue, we were the first, and this is the first time you can actually buy one, because you could never buy one before from the military. So there's a lot of fun to be had in our military reissues if that's kind of the vibe you're looking for.
How much does this one go for?
$1,795, and both the Type 1 and Type 2 are $1,795, and the DTU 2AP is $990.
Great. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I just ran into David Lane of Big Fits One. Good to see you, David.
Pleasure.
Those of you who don't know, David also has this brand called David Lane Design.
So we hand make, hand cut, and hand sew leather watch straps. We've been doing this since 2008. It's just been a passion of mine. I love watches. I love vintage watches, and there's a lot of odd sizes. I have a big wrist, so I was able to accommodate myself. but I like the quality. And my grandfather was around at the time, and he was a shoemaker, and he gave me a thumbs up, so I decided to sell them, and it's kind of grown from there.
Tell us a little bit about the range of straps you have and what the materials are.
So we have basically starting at about $180 calf skin. We have a few steer hides. We have some suede from England. We have some goat skin from France. We have alligator from down south in the U.S. We have a couple other sort of odds and ends materials, but most of them are calf skin. They're nice because they're softer. You can do a little bit more with the coloring, and they're usually a little bit cleaner skins and hides to work with.
Do you do custom orders?
Yeah, so we probably a third to a half of our business is custom orders. So if you need something that's 17 millimeters, which most watches are 18 or even numbers, 18, 20, 22, we can do 17. We can do 23 and a half if you need it. They'll be hand cut by me, and it'll be delivered to what you need. So if you need it longer, shorter, less taper, more taper, thicker, thinner, any thread color, any leather color, we'll line it with a different leather if you want. So fully customizable.
Amazing. David, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We're a good kind of place to get introduced to watches. We hear that a lot. This is kind of my first automatic or my first mechanical movement. So we started with quartz movements, so those are very approachable price points and fit into most people's lives. When you start to learn more, it's the addiction kicks in, and you become more curious about the mechanical side of things. And that's kind of when you fall deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. So our factory in Detroit is, we assemble all of our quartz movements, also regulate the automatic movements. And so...
is everything made in Detroit?
We import components from around the globe, Switzerland, China, and so yeah, our expertise is really the precision assembly.
Talk to me about the design or the aesthetic perspective, who the customer is.
This is maybe a little pre-mid-century, I would say, a little bit more retro. The curved dial, we put a lot of attention into giving it a lot of dimension, and with the goal of having that charm that you see out of some retro style. Moving into the Canfield platform is really where we express a mid-century aesthetic. This is a kind of a sport version of that. More glass, more minimal, pulling from Eros Saarinen, Mies van der Rohe, really going almost all the way back to Albert Kahn and his work with the automotive factories. A lot of people don't know those factories were glass and minimal. The Canfield here, more open dial, kind of reflects that more glass aesthetic, more minimal. We also just have the Canfield, which is even more minimal, really digs into the mid-century. And then there's like a really fun side to mid-century where the color starts to come in. And that's what Detrola is. Presents as a modern watch, but we did get really excited about a lot of the work with composite materials. Think of maybe an Eames molded fiberglass chair. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much.
Take care.
I am here with Olivier from Junghans. I was immediately drawn to this beautiful watch, which is called the Bauhaus. Tell us a little bit about the brand itself.
Yeah. So the brand was created in 1861 in the Black Forest in Germany. So we started first with a collection which is called the Meister. And a milestone in the company was in the year 61, when we started a collaboration with Max Bill, and we started a collaboration also with the Bauhaus. So we have a complete line of Max Bill or Max Bill Bauhaus watches. Here you see two examples. You see what we call the traditional Max Bill automatic, which is a very clean design, 38 millimeter, usually with numerals, with a number 4, which is very special. It's a custom typeface, and all the watches bear the Max Bill signature on the case back. Here you see the same 38 millimeter automatic watch, but there are lots of different design elements. First of all, you see the red accent on the ends, and actually the red accent come from the red accent on the Bauhaus logo, and which we put on the case back on our watches.
That is very cool.
So that's really the purest Bauhaus watches you can get.
What is the price range of these watches?
Yeah, so the automatic are in between 1500 to 1700. We have also the quartz version of these watches for the max build, not for the Bauhaus. We have the solar, mega solar versions, which are also in the 1300, 1400. And here we even have a real Bauhaus watch. And the forms, they are in the 1400 to 1500, depending if it's automatic or the quartz.
Tell me about who the man is who might consider this as his first watch.
Yes, so actually our customers are young professionals. A lot of them are in the design field. They work with builders, designers, architects, and they want to buy a watch that relates to their field of expertise, you know. And the beauty of that, that's also a watch they can wear on a day-to-day basis, because it's basically a timeless design that you can wear with any attire. So it's not limited only to show that you are an architect or a designer, you know. So that's very something you can wear on every occasion with anything. And they are also very comfortable to wear because 38 millimeter, the lug position is what we call the perfect place. So they are very thin, very light. So it's really a product that fits a lot of people and especially a lot of young people.
Well, I am a fan of this watch, for sure. Thank you so much, Olivier.
Of course, my pleasure. And yeah,
we are here at the Bulova booth with Mike. If I'm a guy who's interested in chronograph watches, why would I consider Bulova?
What we have is a really compelling high precision quartz precisionist is what we call it, chronograph. And so that's a quartz chronograph that with a sweep seconds that has a standard battery life because of the larger battery we use, and I think most importantly, accuracy of seconds per year. And the reason that is because instead of the typical around 38 kilohertz, we use a movement that is proprietary that vibrates at 262 kilohertz. So it's a much higher accuracy, much higher frequency, and so you really get a really cool experience. And so we have a couple of different models of Bulova chronographs that use the precisionist. Obviously we have our Lunar Pilot here. And this is our standard Lunar Pilot. We, in the last few years, sized it down to the 43.5 mil from 45 that it was originally. And that 43.5 millimeter is actually the original size that Commander Scott wore in space when he wore this watch.
Okay.
And so that's a really cool one. And we've got a new collaboration with the Brazilian artist Budi, who with a Damascus dial. So that's titanium Damascus dial, really beautiful. We've also got our Marine Star Heritage. So that's take on a vintage design that we had that we really are proud of. Really like that bezel action on this. And it's got that nice vintage and really nice pops of red on it. And then we have our latest collab. This is our collaboration with Shelby America. It's got that classic bullhead chrono design. Really nice blue. You've got the racing stripe. The watch actually comes with this really cool miniature of a Shelby car. And this one takes this a step beyond the Lunar Pilot. So you'll see this has 4 registers on it. And this actually can time up to 1/1000th of a second. So you'll see this register on the left at 9 o'clock has 2 hands stacked on top. That is for 1/1000th and 1/100th of a second to time that, and so you can get a very precise readout.
The price range of these watches?
So all between around 900 and 1500.
For a guy who's maybe just getting into the watch market and is interested in a chronograph style, do you think this is a good option?
I think so. I think it scratches the itch, and I think Bulova has a bunch of different options. So I think obviously our Black Lunar Pilot is a really classic option, and it's got a lot of heritage, legitimate heritage too, right? This made from a watch that was worn in space in the early 70s, right? I think they're really wearable, 43.5 sounds big. Anytime somebody says, oh, it's too big for me, I say, try it on, try it on, try it on. And they're always surprised by how well it wears. You know, I think for the automotive lover, especially if you love a Shelby or a muscle car, you can't do much better than this.
Yeah, it's a very unique looking watch.
Yeah.
And I think it's also good to point out that Bulova has like a very, very wide range of styles.
We do. So, you know, I think it really started with the Lunar Pilot, and if you're familiar with what we were doing back then, we had like the surfboard chrono, and we were trying to bring back a lot. We recognized that there was a real demand for historic Bulova pieces, but modern executions. And since 2016, since the first Lunar Pilot was reissued, we've really been leaning into that. We're really trying to pay attention to what enthusiasts want. We're an American brand. We want to kind of revisit some of the older pieces that defined our history. And I think that's what's really exciting, especially from an enthusiast perspective, about Bulova today.
Great, thank you, Mark.
Absolutely.
I am here with Cami from Furlan Marri. Cami, can you tell us a little bit about this brand?
So we are quite a young brand, and we launched 4 years ago, starting with Mecha Quartz watches. So the name of the brand is basically the two co-founders brought together, so Andrea Furlan and Ahmad Al-Mari, and they are designing all the watches, getting inspired by vintage watches. So I was telling you about the Mecha Quartz, which was our first ever line. So we can see this a nod to the past watches with all the small details using a very interesting hybrid movement Mecha Quartz. And we also launched 1 year after the mechanical line because we're based in Geneva, Switzerland, so it makes sense for us to also have a collection that would be crafted using Swiss movement. So we have different type of designs still inspired by vintage watches. Here, for example, it's the Cohorn Lux design with the sector dial using a La Jouperet G100 movement, so automatic movement with a rotor in tungsten, which is very great for the balance, so provides you 68 hours for a reserve. And we also can have mechanical, because we have Mecha Quartz chronograph, but we also have fully mechanical chronograph. And moreover, this one is a flyback with movement that's we usually, this one is AMT movement, but what we do is that we personalize the movement. We do not use the movement like this. We can redesign one of the bridge, we can put a special coating, special engraving. So the movement, even if other brands can use it, it has our own DNA. Switching to Art Deco shape with the Disco Volante line, with that shape from the 30s to the 70s, but executed in a more modern way, using a very traditional movement. Same, very interesting because it's a very compact traditional puzzle movement that we entirely redesigned in Geneva. So what we do is that we redesign all the bridges, we do all the finishes in a small workshop in Geneva, and we had hand beveling. So if I should sum up the brand, I would say that no matter if you go for a Mecha Quartz watch or a more, I would say, mechanical and expensive watch, you will find the same level of finishes.
Can you tell us about the price range of your watches?
Yeah, sure. So if we do the conversion in USD, it's gonna start at 750 with the Mecha Quartz watches. For the three-hand, it's gonna be 1600. Disco Volant is 3100, and this Disco Volant with the Onyx dial and lab-grown diamonds for the indexes is 4400 USD.
Thank you so much, Cami.
Thank you very much.
That was the 2025 Wind Up Watch Fair. I spoke to a lot of brands and walked away with a ton of information, much more than I bargained for. I didn't decide which watch I'm going to wind up with. I'm going to give it some more thought. Stay tuned to see what we wind up with, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.